Microjig, maker of the gripper. Work safer, work smarter.
I currently store all my bench chisels on my pegboard, and when I'm working at my bench, every time I want a different size chisel, I have to walk over and get it, and it's kind of a pain. So I wanted to build a chisel rack that would allow me to move the entire set of bench chisels over to my bench when I'm working, and I think that would make things a lot easier. This first part that I ripped is going to make up the top, and these two thinner pieces are going to make up the lower part of the chisel rack. The next thing I need to do is work on the sides. With all the pieces cut to rough width and rough length, I can flatten one face of the joiner and then plane them to thickness. Now that I have all the pieces with nice flat faces and planed to thickness, I'm going to, at the joiner, make one edge nice and flat and square to one of the faces, then I'll rip all the pieces to their final width. For the joinery for the lower rails, I'm going to use through tenons. So that means I need to make 2 through mortises per side, and in order to make the through mortises, I'm going to use a plunge router with a 1/4 inch bit, and I'm going to clamp the workpiece down to my bench using my end vise and a bench dog. In order to avoid blowing out the opposite face as I make the through mortise, I'm going to go halfway through from one face, flip the board over, and then come in from the other face to finish off the mortise. Because I'm going to use an edge guide with my plunge router, I intentionally left this piece longer than I need it to be, so I haven't cut this to its final length. That way I'll have more bearing surface for the edge guide to ride against. I need to make a mortise in the top of each side piece for the component that's actually going to hold the chisels. And to pull off that mortise, I'm going to use my horizontal mortiser, and I have the piece clamped in my tenoning jig, and it's going to provide a nice 90-degree support to do the mortising. My tenon was a little bit too snug in the mortise, so I'm going to sneak up on the fit using a mortising bit at the router table. I like to use the router table for this because I can micro adjust the height of the router bit by thousandths of an inch by turning this wheel. When I cut all my tenons to length, I just went ahead and batched them all out to the same length because it would be easier that way. So that meant they all had to be the length of the longest tenon, which was for the through tenons in the bottom. Now, the component that's in the top that's actually going to hold the chisels, those aren't going to be through tenons. So I need to cut those to length, but I'm going to do that now at the table saw. With all the mortises out of the way in both side pieces, I can now finally cut them to their final length. I'm going to trace out a curve on the top front of each side piece, and I'm going to use my radius guide to do that. And you'll find this radius guide and a lot of the other tools that I use in my shop in my Amazon store, and you'll find the link in the description of the video. So I finished the chisel rack with a couple coats of General Finishes Armor Seal, and I still may put on one more coat. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I really hope you guys enjoyed watching the build. So that's all I have. Be sure to check out my new Amazon affiliate store, and also consider supporting what I do here at Garage Woodworks through Patreon. You can get early access to videos and giveaways and other cool stuff. You'll find links to both of them in the first comment below and also in the description of the video. I'll see you all next time.